The night was thick with the kind of Lagos humidity that made the walls sweat. Zara IB lay on her thin mattress, a fan whining overhead like an old gossip. Sleep arrived late and left early these days. Too many orders to finish. Too many bills to dodge. Too much silence without Mama Justina's voice to fill it. But tonight, the silence shifted. In her dream, Zara stood in a narrow corridor of mist. A silhouette emerged. Her mother, wrapper tied neatly, headscarf immaculate, eyes bright like she'd just stepped out of Sunday service. Mama Justina lifted a hand, palm open, and 6 numbers glowed there, floating like fireflies. 04, 11 to 23, 32 to 41, 49. Write them down, NNEM. Mama's voice rang, half whisper, half command. Don't forget. Destiny doesn't cue twice. Zara reached for the numbers, but woke with a gasp. The fan had gone off. Nipa had struck. Darkness swallowed the room. Her phone screen, face down on the floor, buzzed weakly at 3:14 a.m. She fumbled for a pen, anything lip liner, yes, and scribbled the numbers on the inside cover of her Bible. She pressed her hand against the inked page and exhaled. Okay. Morning came with the horns of Danfo buses and the hawker's call of Ajij bread. Zara tied a scarf over her braids, tucked the Bible into her tote, and made her way past the kiosk where lottery tickets were sold. She hesitated. It felt silly. But Mama Justina had always believed in 2 things, hard work and divine nudges. Zara stepped up to the counter. 1 ticket, please, she said, voice small but steady. The vendor, a woman with a gap-toothed smile, slid a small slip of paper toward her. Numbers? Zara read them out as if confessing a secret. 04, 11, 23, 32, 41, 49. Big woman number, the vendor teased. Iffy enter. Remember me, oh. Zara smiled. I'll sew you the finest osso, Ebi in Lagos. She tucked the ticket into the inside page of the Bible, right where she'd written the numbers, and went home to her sewing machine. Needle after needle, stitch after stitch, but between every seam, she whispered those numbers. Not because she believed in luck, but because she believed in Mama. That night, she lit a candle before the framed photo of her mother. If this is just grief making a fool of me, forgive me. But if it's you, Mama, I'm listening. The candle flickered, casting shadows over the tiny room. Zara didn't see the pair of eyes that watched from the doorway, or the silhouette that lingered, a man shifting from one foot to the other, a man whose smile never reached his eyes anymore. By the time she climbed into bed, Zara's heart had settled. Maybe it was nothing, but hope was a dangerous, beautiful thing, and she was holding it like a secret flame. The last thing she heard before sleep claimed her was her husband's voice drifting from the living room, low and urgent on the phone. I said, don't worry. Money is coming. Just give me till weekend. She didn't stir. She didn't see him glance at the Bible. She didn't see his eyes narrow. Hook. When dawn came, Destiny was already awake, and someone else was too. Tobchekwu, Tobe. IBE had a face that could charm a snake out of a basket, but the charm was wearing thin. Beneath his designer shirt, bought on credit, his chest thudded with a dread he couldn't pray away. Gambling wasn't a vice anymore. It was air. And debts? Debts were the ocean. He was already drowning. He lounged on the couch, scrolling through betting odds on his phone while Zara sewed in the bedroom, humming old hymns. Her voice irked him now. Too calm. Too content with little. He glanced at her closed door and muttered, Tailor way no get sense of opportunity. Loan shark messages pinged one after another. Chima shark. Tobe, we know day play. 350K, tomorrow. Chima shark. No day ghost me. Unknown. Your wife Fino. Hope you don't want anything to happen to that fine face. His palms went cold. He needed big money. Fast. When Zara left the house that afternoon to deliver a beaded gown in Suralere, Tobe rifled through drawers. Not because he expected to find cash. Zara barely kept coins, but because of an itchy, crawling instinct. Something was different. She'd been smiling to herself, and last night, he'd heard her murmur in her sleep. He hovered over her side of the bed and noticed the Bible, open ever so slightly, a page corner bent. He flipped it open and paused. Numbers. 6 neat numbers, written in the margin in Keek pen strokes. He snorted, then frowned. He wasn't an idiot. He'd seen the way she squeezed that ticket at the kiosk. He'd seen the vendor wink. He didn't believe in fate, but he believed in a loophole. Footsteps sounded in the corridor. Zara returning? He shut the Bible and dropped it. He plastered on a smile as she stepped in. "You're back early," he said. She shrugged. Customer canceled last minute. Said her brother's wedding moved. "Ah, sorry." He scratched his chin. "So, this your Bible, SEF. Always glued to you." Zara laughed. "Better something is glued to me than to my throat." Meaning you've been clearing your throat since morning. Are you sick?" Tobe rolled his eyes and walked away. But now he was sure. Something was in that Bible. Later that evening, as Zara dozed off after a plate of Gary and groundnuts, the fan returned to life. Tobe stood over her, watching the slow rise and fall of her chest. He walked to the living room, picked up his small backpack, and returned. He opened the Bible. There it was, the ticket, tucked in between Psalms and Proverbs like a folded prayer. He held it up to the moonlight streaming through the window. His breath quickened. His phone dinged again. "Chima Shark, we day come your side tonight." Tobe swallowed. "Not tonight," he muttered. "Not after this." He slipped the ticket into his wallet and zipped his backpack. He looked at Zara, mouth slightly open, breath soft. For a second, a sliver of guilt like a needle pricked him. Then he hardened. "She's fine. She'll be fine. When I win, I'll give her something." He tiptoed out. The door clicked, barely audible. Hook. By morning, she would wake up to sunshine and a hollow in her heart. Dawn spread over Acacia like a promise. Zara stirred, rubbing sleep from her eyes, stretching the ache of endless sewing from her bones. She reached beside the bed for her Bible, eager to read the Psalms like she always did before lifting needle and thread. It wasn't where she left it. Her fingers brushed bare mattress. She sat up, frowning. She lifted the curtain. No Bible on the window stool. Her eyes darted to the dresser. Nothing. Panic rose, not about the ticket yet, but about the Bible. Mama's underlined verses, the pressed hibiscus petal from her funeral. She scrambled to the floor, checked under the bed, the folded wrapper bag. "Tobe," she called. Silence. The living room was empty, cushions scattered, the stale smell of cigarettes lingering. Zara's heartbeat drummed against her ribs. Then she saw it, the Bible, lying open on the center table as though it had been tossed. Relief washed through her until she noticed the page. The ticket-sized indentation. The faint lipstick smudge from last night's lip liner, imprinted on nothing. Empty. Her vision blurred. No. She flipped pages, shook the book. Nothing fluttered out. Her hands trembled as she pulled her phone from the charger. Notifications flooded her lock screen. Breaking. Acacia ticket wins $10 million. Her mouth went dry. She tapped the headline, fingers clumsy. A ticket purchased yesterday afternoon at Queen's Kiosk, Allen Avenue, hit the $10 million jackpot. Officials advised the winner to present their ticket and valid ID. Zara dropped her phone. Her breath seemed too loud, too shallow. The house shrank around her. It wasn't possible. Tobe wouldn't, he couldn't. But the Bible, the empty slot, the early morning absence. Her knees gave out, and she sank to the floor. Mama? Oh God. There was a knock at the door. A rapid, frantic pounding. She staggered up to open it. Ngozi burst in, scarf flying. Zara. Did you see? The numbers, your numbers. I told you. Let's go. Where's the ticket? Zara swallowed. Her voice cracked. He took it. Who? Tobe. Ngozi froze, eyes widening with a horror that quickly morphed into fury. That small boy? That goat? Where is he? He's gone. Ngozi puffed out a breath. Okay, wait. She held Zara's shoulders. We go police. Now. Zara shook her head weakly. They'll say it's my husband. They'll laugh. Then we don't laugh. We shout. We scream. We drag. Let's go. They made it to the police station by 8 a.m., but the officers on duty had the same shrug for every complaint. Madam, na husband and wife matter. Settle am for house. If e be true, he go share am. Zara's voice grew small. He won't share. Ngozi slammed her palm on the counter. Oga, dear job. She bought the ticket. The officer yawned. Unago come back with affidavit. Evidence. Witness. Zara clutched her tote bag like it could anchor her life. They walked out into the harsh sun. The city suddenly felt hostile. Every billboard shouting someone else's joy. Ngozi sighed. We'll get him, Zara. But first breathe. Come, let's go home. We strategize. Zara nodded numbly. At the corner of her eye, she glimpsed a newsstand TV blaring. Anonymous man seen leaving a KJ kiosk shortly after purchase. The grainy footage showed a man in a cap. She didn't need the cap to recognize the swagger. Tobe, she whispered. Hook, somewhere in the city, he was smiling. Somewhere, fate was already circling. By afternoon, Lagos had turned Zara's grief into content. Twitter threads, Facebook gossips, WhatsApp statuses, $10 Ikeja ticket. Emojis danced on people's screens while Zara sat in her dim room, curtains closed against the intrusive sun. Ngozi sat cross-legged on the floor, bulldozing her way through phone calls. No, we need a lawyer. Not that one. I said we need someone sharp like Razor. Okay, call me back. Zara stared at the candles she'd lit the night before. Mama, why? She whispered. Why give me numbers I can't keep? Ngozi touched her arm. Hey, it's not over. Look, the ticket's physical, yes, but there must be a record somewhere. Lottery companies are not juju. There's data. Zara's fingers tapped her phone screen idly. She opened the lottery app she'd downloaded months ago and never used. A light bulb flickered in her mind. Ngozi, I think I bought two. Ngozi blinked. What? I was at the kiosk first, but the line was long, so I opened the app. I put in the numbers, but the app glitched. It didn't show confirmation. I got scared it didn't go through, so I still bought the paper ticket. Ngozi's eyes widened like festival balloons. Did you pay twice? I don't know. The phone died right after. I forgot to check. They dove into Zara's phone like divers after pearls. The app dragged, spinning wheels mocking their nerves. Finally, a page loaded. Purchase complete. Ticket ID, MJ 049873. Timestamp, 2:41 p.m. yesterday. Ngozi screamed. Zara, you have a digital ticket. Zara clapped a hand over her mouth. If that record is legit. Ngozi was already dialing. Barrister Lady. Now. 30 minutes later, Barrister Lady's baritone filled the room via speakerphone. Madam Zara, you hold evidence the size of Third Mainland Bridge. That digital record is proof. We can freeze any payout until the rightful owner is verified. Zara's breaths came quicker. But he's already cashing it, isn't he? Cashing 10 million is not buying tomatoes, Lady said dryly. He needs ID authentication. And if we file an injunction, that money won't move. Ngozi grinned. You hear that? He thinks he won. Zara's shoulders sagged in relief that felt dangerous, like standing on a cliff and trusting the wind. Okay, let's do it. First, police report. Then affidavit. Then court. I will handle the filings, but you must be ready to speak without fear. Can you do that? Zara swallowed. Mama had always said courage wasn't the absence of fear, but the decision that something mattered more. Yes. As evening fell, Zara stepped outside for the first time without flinching. The sky blushed purple and gold. She whispered, "Thank you, Mama." Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Unknown. You think you're smart? Try me, and you'll lose more than money. Ngozi read it and scoffed. He's shaking. Zara stared at the horizon. Let him shake. Hook. The battle line had been drawn, and the city was about to pick a side. Tobe crouched in a dingy hotel room in Mushin, the wallpaper peeling like old lies. The TV blared the same news over and over. $10M winner still unidentified. He had the ticket, yes, but getting the cash was a labyrinth. The lottery office demanded ID, verification, and a comm he did not possess. His burner phone buzzed. Chima Shark. We outside. Pay up or bleed. Tobe peered through the curtain. Two men leaned on a motorcycle, one picking his teeth, the other twirling a knife. He ducked back. He dialed a number. Hello, good afternoon. I'm calling about the winning ticket. Yes, I have it. No, don't transfer me. Listen. I need to know the process. What? Court injunction?
Who filed that?
My wife. She can't. Hello? Hello. The line went dead. He threw the phone against the wall. Court?
How?
He paced, sweat breaking out. He hadn't slept since he left the house. Food tasted like ash. His mind replayed Zara's face, soft, trusting. He shoved it away. She wanted to keep it from me. I deserve this. I deserve. A knock rattled the door.
Tobe.
Open up. Chima's voice. Tobe clutched the ticket like a talisman. Just a minute. He grabbed his backpack, stuffed clothes, the ticket, his ID. He needed a new plan. Ghana? Benin? Anywhere. The door shook. Guy. No, waste our time. He yanked the window open, jumped out onto the corrugated roof of the shed behind the hotel, and landed hard. Pain flashed up his leg, but fear propelled him. He ran through back alleys, scaling a fence as voices shouted behind him. Within hours, he was at a cyber cafe, sweat soaking his shirt. He created a fake Twitter account at Acacia King and tweeted, "People will soon know who the real winner is. Some women are just jealous." Within minutes, a reply came from @OB Investigates. Interesting. Care to talk? Tobe smirked. Journalists. Buzzards. He logged out. But the police were not the only ones watching. Detective Obi sat in his office, eyes narrowed at the screen. Anonymous confession after injunction filed? Suspicious. He called a colleague. Trace this IP. Meanwhile, barrister Lady filed motion after motion. Zara signed papers she barely understood, trusting the weight of Ngozi's squeeze on her shoulder. On the streets, murmurs spread. Nah, that woman husband steal her ticket?
Chai.
Men, N. But see is she day quiet. That one go shock us. By midnight, Tobe sat in another motel, watching the news anchor's perfect smile announce, funds frozen pending court case. He screamed into a pillow. Then another message chimed in. Unknown. Tomorrow. Lottery office. We need to talk about our share. He typed back, hands shaking. Whose number is this? Unknown. Loan sharks. And we don't like court delays. Tobe's mind raced. He was trapped between the law and the lawless. Between a woman's truth and his lies. He clutched the ticket one more time, as if it could soothe his pounding heart. Hook. He had the paper. She had the proof. And fate had just begun its game. By sunrise, the injunction papers were still a theory, and reality was a stack of unpaid bills on Zara's work table. The landlord, Mr. Bamadil, rapped on her door with the impatience of a tax collector. Madam Zara, your rent on expire last month. I give you grace because your mama die. But grace no be forever. Zara opened the door with swollen eyes. Please, sir. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He laughed, belly jiggling. Everybody day owe me 2 weeks. A beg, no vex me this morning. His gaze softened for a second. Then he caught sight of Ngozi behind Zara, arms folded like a bouncer. See as you get bodyguard now. Pay your money. He stomped off, muttering. Zara shut the door gently, as if noise could shatter her. It's all crumbling, Ngozi. This is my life, threadbare. Ngozi slapped a palm to her own forehead. Girl, your life is not a wrapper anyone can tear. Breathe. Cry if you must. But then we move. Zara sat at her sewing machine, fingers tracing the chipped paint. The machine had been Mama Justina's gift, their first investment together. Her chest tightened. I thought I was finally going to exhale. And you will, Ngozi said, crouching. But first, inhale stubbornness. Police won't help.
Fine.
We go higher. Her phone buzzed. A client. Zara, sorry, because of this your husband Walla. My husband say make I carry my order elsewhere. He say bad luck day contagious. The call ended. Zara's shoulders sagged.
See?
It's starting. Ngozi's eyes flared. Let them go. When you build your empire, they will queue. For now, focus. Let's list what we need. Proof, lawyer, courage. Zara nodded slowly. Proof we have if that digital ticket holds.
Yes.
But we need more weight. Something that shows intention. Mama Justina's numbers, you said they came from a dream? Zara's lips twitched. Mama wrote dreams down. In her diary. Ngozi stood. Then what are we doing here? Where is it? In the storage trunk. I haven't opened it since the funeral. They dragged the metal trunk from under the bed. The lock was rusted. Ngozi pried it open with a screwdriver. Inside, a faded Ankara wrapper, photographs, a hymn book, and a hardback journal with floral embossing. Mama's handwriting sprawling in blue ink across the cover. If destiny whispers, write it louder. Zara's fingers trembled as she opened it. The scent of old paper and talcum powder rose like a memory. Pages fluttered, recipes, prayers, notes about customers who owed her money. Then, midway, an envelope taped beneath a page with masking tape. Ngozi gasped. Open it. Zara slid a finger under the seal. Inside was a slip of paper, brittle with age, covered in Mama's looping script. The same 6 numbers, written twice, circled and underlined. Beside them, by 2. Men forget. Destiny doesn't. Tears spilled before Zara could stop them. She knew I'd doubt. She knew someone would try to take. Ngozi wiped her cheek. Or she just knew you. Either way, we now have something priceless. Intent. This wasn't random. Your mother's words are testimony. Zara hugged the diary to her chest. Thank you, Mama. Hook. The dead had spoken, and their words would soon echo in court. Night fell like velvet, but Zara's room was lit, a small lamp, the glow of 2 determined women. They pored over the diary, every scribble a breadcrumb. Mama wrote this the year she was sick, Zara said, tapping a date. Look, April 14th. Dreamt of numbers. Told Zara? Not yet. She will think I'm joking. Ngozi snorted. Your mama savvy pass us. She future-planned your stubbornness. They photographed every relevant page, saved them in multiple folders. Cloud, flash drive, Ngozi's phone. Redundancy became a mantra. Zara dug deeper into the trunk and unearthed a small receipt book with carbon copies. Mama kept even betting receipts. Look, did she? No lottery receipts, but a pattern of meticulous record-keeping. This will show the court what kind of woman raised you, Ngozi said. Not careless. Not unstable. Intentional. Zara paused. Ngozi, what if they say the diary could be fabricated? Ngozi grinned. Then we get handwriting analysis. Forensic something. Lady will know. Besides, the envelope tape has age. We can date it. Relax. A knock sounded, soft, cautious. Zara froze. Ngozi slid silently to the door and peered through the peephole. A familiar face, a neighbor, Auntie Esther. Ngozi opened. Zara, Auntie Esther whispered, slipping inside. I heard about the ticket. Be careful. Tobe, he was at the bar last month boasting. Said if big money enter, no woman go chop him. My husband no tell me to tell you, but I no fit keep quiet. Zara clasped the older woman's hand. Thank you. Did he say where he'd go? Esther shook her head.
No.
But the men Hideo? They are not gentle. Keep your door locked. She squeezed Zara's shoulder and left. Ngozi locked the door twice. We move with urgency now. Zara dialed barrister lady. Sir, I found my mother's diary. In it, she wrote the numbers and told me to buy 2 tickets. Can that help? Lady exhaled, as if he'd been waiting for chess pieces to align. Beautiful. That shows premeditation and ownership. Keep it safe. Bring it tomorrow morning. We'll get it notarized. Zara looked at Ngozi after hanging up. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, Ngozi echoed. They attempted sleep, but anxiety rattled like beads in a calabash. Zara drifted off near dawn and drummed again. Mama Justina, this time laughing on a veranda, sewing machine humming. You see? Destiny is stubborn like you. When Zara woke, she felt different. Not whole, but armored. Hook. With proof in hand, the quiet tailor was about to roar. Morning at Barrister Lady's chambers smelled of coffee and paper wore fuel. Lady, tall and bespectacled, flipped through the diary scans, nodding. We'll certify copies. The original stays with you. He slid a document across the table. Affidavit of ownership. Sign here, here, and here. Zara signed, her name suddenly feeling heavier, like currency. And the digital ticket? Lady asked. Zara placed her battered phone on the desk. The app shows, purchase complete with an ID. Lady's tech assistant, a wiry youth named Dave, connected it to a laptop. We'll pull the raw data, timestamps, geolocation. If your phone's GPS was on, we can prove you made the purchase from your shop. Chain of custody matters. Ngozi leaned over. Chain of what? Custody, Dave repeated. How we prove nothing was tampered with. Think of it like sewing. If the hem is messy, the whole outfit falls apart. Ngozi grinned. You yarn my language now. While Dave tapped keys, Lady spoke softly to Zara. Once we file this, the court will grant an interim order. The Lottery Commission must comply. They can't pay him, or you, until the case is decided. That gives us time to build. Zara nodded. What about Tobe? He'll try to cash out through dubious channels. Or he'll panic. Either way, we let him expose himself. The police will be more willing to act if he's already committed fraud. Dave whistled. Got it. Transaction log, IP address, device ID. Everything. He spun the laptop to face Zara. Lines of code, timestamps, coordinates, proof translated into ones and zeros. Lady smiled like a chess master. Print and certify. Then we serve them. By afternoon, they were at the High Court in Acadia. Lady argued in a calm, deadly tone before a sleepy-looking judge. My lord, the applicant purchased the winning numbers digitally. Her spouse absconded with a physical duplicate. We seek an interim injunction to preserve the res. The judge peered over his glasses. Preserve the what? The money, my lord. The judge sighed. Granted. Served by close of business today. Outside, Ngozi hooped. We're in the game. Zara exhaled. The air tasted like metal and victory. But as they celebrated, her phone buzzed again. Unknown. You think court can protect you? Streets don't read court orders. Ngozi's smile vanished. Block him. Zara shook her head.
No.
Let him talk. Every threat is more proof. Hook, their evidence was ironclad, but iron still bends under heat. Barrister Lady's office became a war room. Whiteboards filled with timelines, ticket purchase, theft, digital proof, injunction, media narrative. Lady tapped a marker against a box labeled public opinion. People love drama. We use that. But we control the story. Zara, you will not speak to media yet. Silence builds tension. Let him rant. Ngozi nodded. We go release small crumbs, let blogs run with it. By the time she speaks, boom. Lady tasked Dave with monitoring social media chatter. Screenshot anything he posts. If he implicates himself, we attach it as Exhibit Z. Zara practiced her affidavit statement aloud, voice shaky at first, then steady. Zara IB, bought the lottery ticket using numbers revealed to me by my late mother. My husband, Tobchukwu IB, removed the physical ticket without my consent while I slept. Lady interrupted gently. Good. But add this. I immediately reported to the police and sought legal redress. Show responsibility. Zara the mended. I immediately reported, she swallowed. What if I freeze on the stand? Then you breathe and remember Mama Justina's handwriting, Lady said. Judges love honest eyes. Meanwhile, he placed a discreet call. Detective Obi. Yes, lady. I have a client with a stolen ticket case.
Husband is slippery.
We'll give you everything. Work with us? Obi's deep voice crackled. I'm already sniffing around a Twitter braggart. Send me what you have. By evening, Lady drafted a press release. Not a loud one, just a whisper in the right ears. Sources say the rightful owner of the Kaja $10 million ticket has proof the purchase was digital and premeditated. Court order granted to freeze funds. Blogs erupted. Twitter turned to a battleground. Hashtag who owns the ticket trended. Memes of a man snatching a Bible from a woman flooded timelines. Ngozi cackled. Public humiliation loading. Zara felt conflicted. She didn't want spectacle, but she needed pressure. She texted Lady, please ensure my address is protected. He replied instantly, done. We're filing for a protective order. As night fell, Zara stitched late into the night, not because she needed the money, but because stitching was sanity. Each seam was a prayer, a mantra. I will not break. I will not break. Hook. While they played chess, Tobe was busy playing checkers with sharks. Tobe's second motel in as many days smelled of mold and regret. He paced, chewing on a thumbnail until it bled. The lottery office had laughed, when he showed up demanding early verification. Sir, there's a court order. Come back with your lawyer. My lawyer. He had none.
He had debts.
He stormed out into the street, sweat soaking his collar. He ducked into a cyber cafe, hands shaking. If the court was against him, he needed the crowd. He logged back into Adakaja King. Adakaja King. Women are dramatic. Watch how the real owner collects. Hashtag 10M win. Within minutes, replies poured in. At Jismina. This one not Tobe.
We know your IP.
LOL. At Obi investigates. Dear King, police would love a chat. DM? Tobe scoffed, but his heart thudded. He DM'd Obi. Meet me if you want story. Bring 200K. Obi smiled at the message in his office. He just incriminated himself. Arrange a sting. Meanwhile, Chima Shark's boys cornered Tobe as he exited the cafe. Oga billionaire. One sneered. You day tweet while we day hungry? They dragged him into a back alley. A fist met his gut. Pain blossomed. Where the money? It's frozen. Tobe gasped. Court blocked it. The knife twirler narrowed his eyes. Then, unfreeze it. I can't. Not without her, he stopped. Too late. So, na woman hold your destiny, the other laughed. You, be man at all? They kicked him once more and spat. You have 48 hours. Or, we collect in flesh. Tobe crawled away, rage and fear mixing into a bitter cocktail. He pulled out his phone, dialed a number he'd sworn never to call, his estranged cousin, Keen, a small-time hacker. Guy, I need to hack a lottery account.
Keen sighed.
Nah prison you day find? A beg. I'll pay you 5% when I cash out. Keen was quiet. Send me details. As Tope sent the screenshot of the court order he'd secretly snapped, he didn't notice the silent ping on Detective Obi's console. A trace embedded in the DM link Keen had clicked. Obi stood, grabbed his coat. We move tonight. Back in Zara's flat, she and Ngozi watched the 10 p.m. news. The anchor announced, a court has frozen the $10 million lottery funds amidst a marital dispute. Sources suggest the wife has digital proof of purchase. A clip of Zara entering court, face shielded by a scarf, flashed briefly. Zara sank into the couch. I don't want to be their headline. Ngozi squeezed her hand. Then let the final headline be yours. Zara nodded. Tomorrow, we file the full suit. I'll testify. Hook, Tobe thought a tweet could save him, but it had just signed his warrant. By the next morning, Lagos had turned the case into a soap opera. Radio hosts debated it between Afrobeats hits. Bloggers streamed live from outside the lottery commission. Even the woman who sold Akra on Zara's street asked customers, you think say na the wife or the husband get him? Zara stayed indoors, curtains half drawn, phone face down. Silence, like barrister lady advised, but the silence was loud with whispers she couldn't shut out. Ngozi scrolled through hashtags anyway. Hashtag Bible ticket. Hashtag Zara versus Tobe. Hashtag 10 million marriage. People are mad, Ngozi muttered, holding up a meme of a man grabbing a Bible with the caption, "Thou shalt not steal, unless it's the jackpot." But this madness is working. They're on your side. Zara shook her head. I don't want their pity. I want my truth recognized. A knock startled them both. Ngozi peered through the peephole, Detective Obi, crisp shirt, no-nonsense gaze. She let him in. Madam Zara, Obi began, tipping his head. I need a formal statement. I'm building a criminal theft and fraud case. Your civil case will benefit.
Zara sat upright.
The police turned me away before. Obi's jaw ticked. I'm not the police that turned you away. I'm the one correcting their mistake. Start from the dream. She narrated everything, Mama Justina's voice, the numbers, the digital ticket, the theft. Obi recorded, nodding sparingly.
Good, he said at last.
Your husband is sloppy. He's been DMing journalists and hackers. We tracked his alias. We'll pick him up soon, but we need him to incriminate himself further. So, you must stay quiet. Zara glanced at Ngozi, who was already nodding. We can do quiet, but safe. I'm assigning a patrol to swing by. And Obi slid a card across. If anything happens, call me directly. Don't wait for the station. After he left, Ngozi exhaled. At least one uniform has sense. By afternoon, a TV crew gathered outside.
Zara.
Just one word. A microphone poked through the window bars. Ngozi closed the curtains.
They'll milk you dry.
Nope. Inside, they strategized with Lady via video call. He held up a draft. Statement of claim. We file the full suit tomorrow, he said. Expect a hearing date within a week. Tobe will be served. He'll show up or be in contempt. Zara rubbed her forehead. And if he doesn't, then the court grants judgment in default. But he will. Men like him believe they can talk their way out of anything. Outside, neighborhood kids chanted, Zara Dawn win, Zara Dawn win, and drummed on empty paint buckets. For a second, a laugh bubbled up Zara's throat, half joy, half hysteria. She let it out. It felt good. Hook, the court date was set, and the whole city had front row seats. The Acacia High Court foyer buzzed like a market. Cameras flashed, reporters whispered. Zara adjusted her plain navy gown and scarf. No flamboyance. Let the facts wear the color today. Ngozi squeezed her hand. You look like every underdog the world wants to root for. Barrister Lady arrived, files underarm, eyes sharp. Remember, answer what is asked. Don't volunteer extra. Truth is your power, but precision is your sword. Tobe strode in moments later, wearing a too-bright suit and a forced grin. Beside him, a lawyer Zara had never seen, slick hair, gaudy tie, fumbled with papers. Tobe's eyes flicked to Zara. Something like panic flashed, then arrogance swallowed it. In courtroom 3, ceiling fans churned lazy circles. The judge, Justice Amaka Odi, sat with an expression that said she'd heard every lie in Lagos twice. Lady opened. My lord, we are here to establish rightful ownership of the $10 million lottery prize. Exhibit A, digital purchase receipt. Exhibit B, device log. Exhibit C, affidavit. Exhibit D, diary excerpts proving prior intent. Tobe's lawyer jumped up. Objection. Diary is hearsay. Lady didn't blink. It is corroborative, not primary. Sit down. Justice Odi arched a brow. Counsel, the court will determine admissibility. Proceed. Zara was called. She walked to the stand, a tremor lifting in her knees. Sworn in, she sat. Lady's voice softened. Mrs. I.B., when did you first note these numbers? In a dream, my lord. My late mother, she. Justice Odi leaned forward. We are not verifying the metaphysical, Mrs. I.B. Stick to tangible facts. Zara nodded. Yes, my lord. I wrote the numbers in my Bible. I purchased a physical ticket and, earlier, a digital one via the lottery app. The physical ticket was in my Bible. My husband took it while I slept. Did you give him permission? No, my lord. Tobe's lawyer pounced. Mrs. IB, is it not true that as your husband, Mr. IB has a right to communal property? Zara met his gaze. Communal property is not theft. He didn't use it. He stole it and ran. The gallery murmured. Justice ODI banged her gavel. Silence. Lady continued. Exhibit B shows her phone made the purchase at 2:41 p.m. from GPS coordinates matching her workshop. Mr. IB, where were you at 2:41? Tobe swaggered to the stand. Probably around. My lord, I gave my wife the money for the ticket, so it's mine. Lady's eyebrow twitched. Produce proof of that money. Bank transfer? Receipts. Tobe shifted.
Cash.
We use cash. Justice ODI scribbled a note. Convenient. Lady slid another exhibit forward. Your Honor, Exhibit E. CCTV from the kiosk showing Mr. IB loitering, then leaving without purchase. Exhibit F. Tweets from an alias, Adekeja King, boasting about ownership. IP traced to a cafe in Mushin near Mr. IB's current hideout. Tobe's lawyer sputtered. Anonymous tweets? This is 2025, not 1999. People fake accounts. Detective Obi stood up from the gallery. My lord, for the record, I am Detective Obi Okafor. We traced the IP and retrieved CCTV matching Mr. IB's entry and exit at that exact time. He requested payment from this court's officer on duty in exchange for exclusive info.
Gasps.
Justice ODI's eyes hardened. Noted. Continue. Tobe's composure cracked. They're lying. She set me up. Justice ODI's gavel hit. You will not shout in my court, Mr. IB. Counsel, control your client. After lunch recess, Lady called the loan shark, Chima, as a hostile witness. Chima swaggered in, chewing gum. Mr. Chima, Lady said, did Mr. IB owe you money? Chima smirked. Everybody owes me money. Did he tell you he would settle with lottery winnings? Chima shrugged. He say money day come. Said his wife no go touch him. That's all. Justice ODI's pen paused. Noted. By day's end, Justice ODI leaned back. I am granting continuation of the freeze. I am also ordering both parties to submit full financial disclosures. We reconvene in 48 hours. Mr. IB, you are warned. Any attempt to convert, conceal, or dissipate funds or assets will result in contempt and immediate remand. Tobe swallowed. Zara exhaled a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. As she left the stand, a journalist shouted, Zara, how do you feel? She paused, turned slightly, and said, Truth doesn't shout.
It stands.
That's all. The clip went viral before she even reached home. Hook. The city had chosen its heroine, and the villain had just been cornered. By morning, Tobe's name was dust. Trending videos spliced court footage with old clips of him bragging in bars. One particularly savage edit overlaid his I deserve this rant with shots of Zara sewing late into the night. At a buka in a Ajij, men shook their heads. Nah man be this? Imagine stealing from your wife. Kai. At a salon, women hissed. If nah me, I for use that ticket slap him. Laughter erupted, sharp and triumphant. Tobe tried to slip into a bank branch to make inquiries. The security guard blocked him. Court orders say, we no fit assist you, sir. A beg no stress me. As he stormed out, a group of youths recognized him. Phones rose like spears. Oga Tobe, where Bible ticket? One taunted. Another mimed snatching a paper and running. Laughter exploded. Someone live-streamed. Comments rained. CM. Thief way no sabi thief well. He shoved past, face burning. In a dark corner, Chima's boys appeared again. Time dawn finish. Knife twirler hissed. No money. We collect blood. Tobe's hands trembled. Give me 2 days. I'll fix it. I swear. They pressed him against a wall. We day watch you. Back home, Zara watched the chaos with mixed emotions. Pity?
No.
Satisfaction? Not quite. Relief?
Deeply.
But mostly she was tired. Ngozi bounced in, waving her phone. Girl, your one-line quote? 400,000 likes. The world loves a quiet mic drop. Zara grimaced. They love drama. Let them. I just want this over. Her phone buzzed. Ani Esther again. Zara, television people day my shop say dem want interview you. I chase them. But be careful. Your husband go mad. Zara thanked her. Turned to Ngozi. I need security. Already called lady. He's arranging a private escort for court day 2. You won't walk in alone again. Meanwhile, Detective Obi had Tobe under surveillance. Don't grab him yet, he told his team. Let him attempt something stupid. Then we nail him for more than theft. Tobe did not disappoint. By dusk, he was in an internet cafe again, Skyping cousin Keen. Do it. Just reroute the funds to a crypto wallet. We share.
Keen sniffed.
Guy, you're done. Police are probably tracking this call. In fact, he hung up abruptly. Tobe slammed the keyboard. When he turned around, 2 plainclothes officers blocked the exit. Mr. IB, one said, flashing a badge. Come with us. He bolted. Bad idea. They tackled him into a chair, cuffs clicking. Someone filmed. Of course. The clip hit the internet in minutes. Lottery thief arrested after attempting hack. Hook. With Tobe in handcuffs, the game changed, but fate had one more twist to play. Tobe spent the night in a cell that smelled of sweat and stale regret. He banged on the bars. I demand my lawyer. A constable smirked. Your lawyer no demand you. Detective Obi arrived with a file. Mr. IB, you're under arrest for attempted cyber fraud, theft, and obstruction. Also, loan sharks filed a complaint. Interesting friends you keep. Tobe's bravado crumbled.
Please.
Let me call Zara. We can settle. Obi laughed once. Settle what? She's settling into financial freedom. You into legal trouble. Meanwhile, at the High Court, Lady presented the arrest as Exhibit G. My lord, the respondent attempted to illegally transfer funds. We request not just a freeze, but a restraining order on him contacting my client. Justice ODI adjusted her glasses. Granted. Furthermore, the funds shall remain frozen until final judgment. Any accrued interest to be included. The Lottery Commission is ordered to expedite verification of the digital ticket. Outside, Zara inhaled the dusty courthouse air like fresh rain. It's really happening, she whispered. Ngozi grinned. Focus. 2 more days. Then we celebrate. That evening, Zara returned home to find her door slightly ajar. Her heart leapt into her throat. Ngozi. Ngozi slipped in first, wielding a pepper spray can and a rolling pin because why not? The room was empty but ransacked, drawers open, fabrics tossed. Zara hurried to the trunk. The diary was still there. So was the phone. She sagged in relief. Ngozi cursed. He sent someone. Or those goons. We need you out of here. Lady arranged temporary lodging at a safe guest house managed by a women's NGO. Stay here till judgment. We can't risk intimidation. At the guest house, Zara shared a kitchen with women whose stories echoed hers. Betrayal, survival, second chances. One, a nurse named Halima, said, when you win, make space for others. That's how we break the cycle. Zara nodded. I will. Back in detention, Tobe stewed. His lawyer finally arrived. Bail is possible, but the fraud charge complicates it. Also, loan sharks want you remanded for their safety. My safety, Tobe shouted. I'm the one. The lawyer raised a hand. Calm down. We'll negotiate bail. But if you contact Zara, you'll go straight back. Tobe slumped. Just get me out. Hook. The money was untouchable, the thief was caged, but Destiny still had a debt to collect. 2 days later, rain hammered Lagos like drumming fists. The final hearing day felt cinematic. Zara walked into court flanked by Ngozi and 2 NGO volunteers. Cameras flashed, but she kept her eyes forward. Inside, Justice ODI's tone was all business. We will hear closing arguments. Lady Rose. My lord, the evidence is crystalline. Ownership isn't about who grabbed paper. It's about who paid, who intended, who documented. My client did all three. The respondent acted in bad faith, compounded by criminal attempts. We request full award of the prize to Mrs. IB, plus costs. Tobe's replacement lawyer, the first had, withdrawn for ethical reasons, tried to salvage dignity. My lord, marriage creates joint property. Even if he erred, equity demands he receive a portion. Justice ODI steepled her fingers. Equity does not reward theft. Sit down. She shuffled papers, then spoke, voice ringing clear despite the thunder outside. This court finds that Mrs. Zara IB is the sole, rightful owner of the $10 million lottery prize. The digital purchase, her mother's documented intent, and the respondent's subsequent conduct make this inescapable. The funds are to be released to her forthwith.
Costs are awarded.
Additionally, a restraining order against Mr. IB is granted for 5 years. Court adjourned. The gavel fell. For a heartbeat, silence. Then, Ngozi's squeal, muffled to respect decorum, but still a squeal. Zara's knees almost buckled. Ladies steadied her.
Breathe.
It's done. Outside, microphones thrust again. This time, Zara chose her words. To every woman who has been told to leave it, who has been laughed at when seeking help, don't let anyone steal your destiny. Not even the one sleeping beside you. The quote blazed across timelines. As the lottery commission processed her payout, Zara made her first call. Not to a bank, but to Halima at the guest house. Find me 5 women who need seed money. We start today. She wired 1.2 billion Nigerian nairas, $1M, into a new fund, Mama Justina Women's Trust. Papers signed, board formed, Ngozi gleefully as co-founder. Mission drafted. Meanwhile, Tobe stood outside the courthouse on bail, rain soaking him. No umbrella. No allies. Reporters ignored him. His phone buzzed. Balance due. Midnight. He stared at the message, realization dawning. No more lifelines. He ran. Through puddles, alleys, breath ragged. Lone shark spikes revved behind him. He darted across the road. Horns blared. Tires screeched. Detective Obi's car blocked the path. Officers grabbed the sharks first. Armed robbery conspiracy. Obi barked. Hands up. Tobe slumped against a wall, shaking. Obi turned to him. Your lucky fate has better plans than you do. Back to custody, for your own safety, ironically. As Tobe was led away, he caught a glimpse of a TV in a shop window. Zara on screen, smiling through tears, speaking about building schools and businesses for women. He whispered, Zara, but the rain swallowed his voice. That night, Zara stood on the balcony of her new temporary apartment, quiet, safe, overlooking the city lights. She held Mama Justina's diary, now framed. Thank you, she whispered to the night. For the numbers. For the strength. Lightning flashed. Thunder answered. But inside her, peace. Hook. She had the money, the platform, the purpose. Now it was time to build. On to chapters 16 to 20. Money hit Zara's new account with a silent electronic ping. No fireworks, no confetti, just a cold series of digits that could change lives or corrupt souls. She stared at the screen, hand hovering. Ngozi hooped, nearly falling off the sofa. We're funded. Mama Justina, trust is real. Zara inhaled. First disbursement. $1 million to the trust as promised. Her banker on speakerphone coughed in surprise. Mrs. IB, that's sizable. It's intentional, she replied. Set up a separate escrow account. Board must sign off on all withdrawals. Include an external auditor. Ngozi blinked. On, Madam Tycoon. Where did you learn all that? Zara smiled softly. Tailors learn to measure twice. I'm just measuring money now. They met at the guest house hall with 5 women Halima had recommended, each with a story etched in their eyes. A hairdresser whose equipment was seized by an abusive husband. A food vendor run out of business. A young coder denied a laptop because women don't code. Zara sat across from them, not as a savior, but as someone who knew the taste of helplessness.
This is not charity. It's partnership.
You'll pay it forward when you can. Agreed. Heads nodded, eyes glistening. They signed seed grant papers. Ngozi snapped a discreet photo for record, not for clout. We document, but we don't exploit, she whispered. Later, an investment advisor, Mr. Afolayan, visited. Diversify into real estate, low-risk bonds, and impact ventures, he advised. Zara listened, took notes, and set strict rules. No luxury purchases for 6 months. We build first. That night, she sat with Mama Justina's diary on her lap, calculator on the table. Numbers still ruled her life, but now they obeyed her. Hook. Wealth secured, mission launched. Now she had to transform from survivor to strategist. The abandoned warehouse at the edge of Yabo looked like an eyesore to most. Broken windows, rusted gates, graffiti eulogies to failed dreams. To Zara, it was a blank canvas. We'll turn it into a training hub, she told the architect, a young woman named Temi. Open classrooms, sewing bays, a tech lab for fashion design software. Temi's eyes danced. We can add solar panels, rainwater harvesting. Sustainable, scalable. Construction began. Zara swapped her measuring tape for a hard hat. She negotiated with suppliers, signed MOUs with microfinance banks for graduates, teamed up with a textile cooperative in ABA. We'll guarantee bulk purchases if they keep prices fair, she insisted. Press kept calling. She declined most, choosing one long-form documentary with a women-led media outfit. Tell the full story, she said. Not just the ticket, but the thread that led here. Ngozi ran operations with the ferocity of a general. We need curricula, trainers, security, insurance, her whiteboard filled. Zara visited her old landlord with a cashier's check. For the months I owed, plus interest. And a request. Fix the plumbing. Tenants deserve dignity. Mr. Bamadiel's jaw dropped.
Ah.
God bless you, my daughter. She returned to the market stall of the lottery vendor who'd sold her the paper ticket. The woman froze.
Ah.
Big woman. Zara laughed. I promised also Abi, remember? She delivered bolts of rich Ankara. And a generator. Business shouldn't die, because Nipa sneezes. The vendor wept. You remember? People forget small people when they rise. Back at the hub, the signboard went up. Mama Justina Women's Trust, tailoring futures, weaving destinies. As students filed in on opening day, Zara gave a quiet speech. We're not just sewing fabric. We're stitching back lives unraveled by pain. Thunderous applause thundered, not just from hands, but from hearts finally heard. Hook. The empire was rising, stitched not with greed, but with gratitude. Tobe sat on a thin mattress in a prison cell, walls sweating like his palms. Court had denied his second bail application. Flight risk stamped boldly. He stared at the communal TV, fuzzy with static. There she was, Zara, in a hard hat, laughing with children, cutting a ribbon. The cheer read, from tailor to tycoon, Zara IBE launches Women's Trust. He muted the noise around him. A cellmate, Cunnel, nudged him. "Nah, your wife be that? Guy, she fine and she gets sense. You mess up." Tobe snapped, "Mind your business." But his anger fizzled fast, replaced by a hollow ache. He replayed memories, not the ones where he smiled like a prince, but the ones where he saw her bent over a sewing machine while he gambled, where he mocked her caution. Shame bloomed slow and poisonous. He scribbled on scraps of paper, apologies he'd never send, excuses he couldn't defend. He thought of Mama Justina, who'd welcomed him once. He thought of the Bible, now forever an accusation. One afternoon, Detective Obi visited. "Mr. IB, plea bargain on the fraud charge will get you reduced time if you cooperate on loan shark operations." Tobe stared. "What about Zara?" Obi shrugged. "She's moving forward. You should think of how you'll live when you get out. Without bitterness. Or don't. Your choice." In the yard, Tobe watched a bird hop along the fence. Free without millions. Free without schemes. He sighed, a shuddering, unfamiliar sound. Maybe fate wasn't on my side, but maybe it can stop being against me. He asked the prison librarian for a notebook. He began to write, not to Zara, but to himself. How did I get here? Hook. Behind bars, he faced the only opponent left, his own reflection. 6 months later, the tailoring hub buzzed like a hive. Machines whirred, laughter spilled, and the scent of new fabric mixed with fried plantain from the canteen. Zara walked through the aisles, greeting trainees by name. She signed a deed for a modest but sunlit home in Lekki Phase 1, not a mansion, but hers, built with clean money. The walls were adorned with framed patterns, photos of beneficiaries, and one central piece, Mama Justina's diary under glass. She sponsored 20 girls through secondary school, paid off small loans for widows, funded a tech incubator for women coders. Diversify the trust's impact, she told the board. Sowing is our root, but branches must spread. A fashion week in Lagos invited her as a keynote speaker.
She declined.
I'm not ready for catwalks, but I'll send my students. 5 young designers debuted stunning pieces inspired by Destiny threads. They won. On a Saturday afternoon, Zara visited her mother's grave in the village. She brought fresh hibiscus, knelt, and whispered through tears, "We made it, Mama. Not just me, all of us." A familiar voice behind her cleared gently. It was Tobe's older sister, Ifeoma, holding a small envelope. "Zara, he asked me to give you this. He knows you may never read it, but he's changing." Zara accepted it, heart steady. "Maybe I'll read it when I'm ready. Or maybe I won't. Not every wound needs reopening." That night, she finally exhaled in her living room, lights low, diary soft under her palm. No fear of a door creaking, no anxiety about Nipa, no more reflex to hide precious things. She brewed tea, smiled at nothing in particular, and allowed rest to find her. Hook. Peace reclaimed, purpose expanding. Only one thing remained, to tell the world what destiny really means. A year to the day after the numbers fell from heaven, Zara stood on a stage at a packed civic auditorium. Banners read, Mama Justina Women's Trust, First Anniversary Gala. Beneficiaries filled the front rows, hairdressers, coders, farmers, fashion designers, each a living testament. Ngozi, resplendent in a tailored jumpsuit, introduced her. She didn't just win money. She won clarity. She turned a ticket into a table where many can eat. My sister, my friend, Zara IB. Applause thundered. Zara approached the podium, wearing a simple Ankara dress she'd sewn herself. Cameras rolled, live streams buzzed. But her eyes sought only the women in front of her. When that ticket vanished, she began, I thought destiny had betrayed me. But destiny is not paper. Destiny is persistence, faith, and the people who hold you up when you're falling apart. Yes, he stole a ticket. But he couldn't steal my mother's wisdom, my hand skill, or my spirit's stubbornness. You cannot steal what is written into someone's bones. She lifted the framed diary for all to see. These numbers were a whisper. The real miracle was the voice inside that said, fight, document, believe, and build for more than yourself. The audience rose in a standing ovation. Tears glistened, phones flashed. Back in his cell, Tobe watched on a smuggled phone, eyes wet. He whispered, I'm sorry. To no one in particular. Zara closed with a promise. Next year, this hall will be too small. Because fate was on my side, but tonight, we make sure it's on yours too. Music swelled. Women danced. Zara laughed, a full, unguarded sound, under a cascade of confetti shaped like tiny sewing needles. The camera panned out, Lagos lights twinkling beyond the auditorium windows like 1,000 tiny numbers in the sky.
The end.